Okay, so imagine this. You're starting next week, and you've got an extra $6,400.
Wow.
That would be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Well, we're diving into some breaking news that could seriously benefit you if you receive Social Security or SSDI.
That's right.
This is big, and we need to act fast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The clock is ticking.
It is.
The IRS just confirmed a double stimulus package.
Wow.
Specifically for Social Security and SSDI beneficiaries.
Okay.
And the first payments could be rolling out as early as this weekend.
This weekend, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all, if this kind of information is helpful for you, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more updates like this.
Yes, please do that.
Okay, so let's break it all down. But first, let's understand what even triggered this sudden windfall.
Yeah.
Because it's not every day the government is sending out checks like this.
You're right. It's not an everyday thing.
So what's the story here?
Well, picture this skyrocketing healthcare costs. Grocery bills that keep climbing, and utilities that seem to go up every month.
Every month.
For those on fixed incomes, especially seniors and people with disabilities.
Right.
It's been a really tough year.
Yeah, it's like everything is getting more expensive, but those Social Security and SSDI checks aren't really keeping up with that pace.
Precisely, and that's what prompted the government to step in with this double stimulus package.
Okay.
You know, they're trying to provide some immediate relief and give folks a little bit of breathing room to hopefully regain some financial stability.
I see. So 2 separate payments totaling $6,400.
Yes.
So $3,200 now, and another $3,200 a few weeks later.
Exactly. The first payment is kind of like a lifeline to address those urgent bills that might be piling up.
Right.
And then the second payment acts as like a buffer, you know, a little bit of padding to help people feel more secure and hopefully avoid falling into debt.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah.
Now the million-dollar question.
Okay.
Who actually qualifies for this?
Yeah.
This double stimulus?
So the cornerstone requirement is that you must be receiving Social Security or SSDI benefits.
Oh, okay.
But there's more to it than just that.
Right, because there are always income limits
Yeah.
with these sorts of programs, right?
You bet. But here's a crucial detail that a lot of people might miss.
Okay.
Your Social Security or SSDI benefits don't count towards those income limits.
So even if you're getting a decent-sized Social Security check, you could still qualify for the full stimulus amount.
Exactly.
So walk us through the specific numbers.
Okay, so for individuals, the full $6,400 payment goes to those with an annual income up to $90,000.
Okay.
Above that, the payment amount gradually decreases until you hit $100,000, at which point you no longer qualify.
Gotcha. And what about married couples filing jointly?
Same principle applies, just with higher thresholds. So for couples, the full payment is available for those with a combined income up to $180,000.
Okay.
Then the payment phases out, reaching zero at $200,000.
Okay, so now we know who qualifies. But let's get to the heart of it. How do people actually get their hands on this money?
Right.
I bet a lot of folks are on the edge of their seats wondering about that.
You're right. It's the golden question. And here's where things get time sensitive.
Okay.
The IRS is launching a brand new online portal dedicated specifically to this stimulus program.
And when does this portal open?
Mark your calendars this Friday
Oh, wow.
at midnight Eastern time.
So we're talking just a few days from now.
You got it. And here's the catch. They're using a first-come, first-served system.
Okay.
Priority will be given to applications submitted within the first 48 hours.
So if you want to see that first payment hit your account like as soon as possible, you need to be ready to go the second that portal opens.
Right away.
Wow, that's a really tight turnaround.
It is.
But what if someone isn't comfortable applying online?
Sure.
Do they have any other options?
Absolutely. You can apply over the phone or visit your local Social Security office for in-person assistance. Just keep in mind that those methods might take a little longer to process.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the application process itself, let's take a quick pulse check here.
Okay.
Think about what an extra $6,400 could do for you right now.
Yeah.
Would it wipe out some debt? Would it give you some breathing room, or maybe help you finally tackle that home repair you've been putting off?
Lots of possibilities.
If this is resonating with you, hit that like button and share this with anyone who might benefit from this information.
Yes, please do.
It's a powerful question to consider. How would you use this money to improve your life?
It is.
We'll dive into some smart strategies for using these funds a bit later. But first, let's make sure you know exactly what you need to have ready when you apply.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, paperwork can be a real drag.
I know. Tell me about it.
So what will people need to have on hand to sail through this application process?
Well, the good news is they've streamlined the process, recognizing that not everyone has easy access to complex financial documents.
Okay, that's a relief. So what do people need?
You'll need your Social Security award letter or SSDI documentation, a valid government-issued ID, and your most recent tax return if you filed one.
So no need to dig through piles of old bank statements or anything like that?
Yeah, nope. They've kept it pretty straightforward, which is fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think we've got a pretty good handle on like who's eligible and
Yeah.
what folks need to have ready.
Yeah.
But, I know there's always that nagging worry in the back of people's minds.
Right.
Like, how will this affect my existing benefits? Is this going to mess things up somehow?
Yeah, it's a very valid concern, especially with government programs. There's often a fear of unintended consequences.
Exactly.
But here's the good news. These stimulus payments are specifically designed to avoid that.
So no need to worry about losing Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid benefits?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
These payments fall under the category of economic impact payments, which means they are treated differently from your regular income.
So in other words, they're not going to mess with your existing benefits or eligibility.
That's exactly right. They won't affect your benefit amounts, and they won't disqualify you from any programs that you're currently enrolled in.
Okay.
And here's another bonus. They're not taxable.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It is.
So essentially, this money is just like a bonus.
Exactly.
A little extra padding to help folks make ends meet.
Precisely. It's a way to provide targeted support without disrupting the existing safety net that's in place.
I like it. That's great news.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will put a lot of minds at ease.
For sure.
But speaking of potential hiccups,
Okay.
let's talk about some of the logistical challenges folks might encounter.
Uh-huh.
What happens if someone's moved recently
Right.
or changed their bank information?
That's a very common scenario, and the IRS has thankfully anticipated it.
Okay.
They've set up a rapid update system,
Oh,
so
wow.
you can update your information online or through their dedicated phone line,
Gotcha.
right up until the payment processing begins.
So no need to panic if you've, recently relocated or switched banks.
Exactly. They've made it relatively painless to keep your information current.
Okay, that's good. That's reassuring. Now, what about situations where people share bank accounts
Right.
or live together? How does that work?
Another great question. The IRS has clear guidelines for handling those situations
Okay.
to ensure the money gets to the right people. So they'll take into account things like whose name is on the account, who's listed as the primary beneficiary.
It sounds like they've really thought this through,
They have.
trying to cover all the bases.
They've definitely put a lot of effort into making this process as smooth as possible.
I like that.
But of course, there are always going to be some bumps along the road.
Right.
That's why it's so important to have a really robust support system in place.
That makes sense. Navigating government programs
Yes,
can sometimes feel like wandering through a maze.
absolutely. It can be very confusing.
So what kind of support is available for those who might need a little help?
Well, they've got you covered on that front. There's a whole network of resources available, including 24/7 phone assistance, online chat support, and even in-person help centers.
Right.
At your local Social Security office. So whether you prefer to talk to someone directly, chat online, or get that face-to-face help, there's an option for you.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's reassuring to know that there's help available every step of the way.
absolutely.
So let's shift gears a bit here.
Okay.
Let's talk about what people can do to make the most of this extra money.
Yeah,
Because $6,400 is a significant chunk of change.
it is.
This has the potential to make a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. It's not just about getting the money, it's about using it wisely.
Right.
So that's where a little bit of financial planning can go a long way.
So what are some smart strategies
Sure.
people can use to maximize the benefit of these funds?
Well, a top priority for many should be building up an emergency savings fund. Having that financial cushion can provide peace of mind and help weather those unexpected storms. Think of it as a safety net
Right.
for life's little or big surprises.
Especially in times like these when economic uncertainty seems to be like the norm.
Exactly. Having a little nest egg can make all the difference when those unexpected car repairs, medical bills, job losses pop up.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
What are some other smart uses for these funds?
Well, another great option is addressing those critical home repairs or modifications that you've been putting off.
Okay.
Maybe there are safety upgrades you've been meaning to make, or perhaps your roof needs some attention.
Yeah, those are things that can often fall by the wayside when you're living on a fixed income.
Exactly. And this stimulus money could be the perfect opportunity to finally tackle those projects and make your home safer and more comfortable.
Okay, so home repairs and emergency savings, those are two great starting points. Any other ideas?
Well, for some folks, investing in medical equipment or supplies might be a top priority. Perhaps you need a new wheelchair, a lift chair, or some other assistive device. This money could help cover those costs and improve your quality of life.
Yeah, that's a really important point. Healthcare costs can be a huge burden, especially for those with disabilities or chronic illnesses.
Absolutely. And this stimulus money could provide some much-needed relief in that area.
Okay, so we've talked about emergency savings, home repairs, and medical expenses. Are there any other smart strategies we should consider?
Well, for those who are a bit more financially savvy and looking towards the future, a portion of this money could be used to start a small investment fund.
Interesting. So even though this is a one-time payment, it could potentially be used to generate some long-term growth.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for your individual circumstances and financial goals. But the key takeaway here is that this money has the potential to be a real game changer for many people. It's an opportunity to take control of your financial well-being and create a more secure future.
And that's what it's all about. Now, before we wrap up this part of our conversation, I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
Okay.
We've talked about a lot of potential uses for this money, but I'm curious, what excites you most about the possibilities the stimulus package presents?
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to doing with this extra financial support? If you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, we do. It's such an empowering thought, isn't it?
It is.
To have a little extra breathing room to be able to address those nagging financial concerns, or maybe even to pursue a dream or goal that felt out of reach before.
Yeah, it really is inspiring to think about, all the positive changes this could potentially spark.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But before we sign off, let's recap those key takeaways.
Yes.
To make sure everyone's on the same page.
Good idea.
And ready to take action.
Okay.
So bottom line, there's a real opportunity here for Social Security and SSDI recipients.
Yes.
To get some much needed financial relief.
Right.
This double stimulus package totaling $6,400 is designed to address those pressing immediate needs.
Right.
And provide a foundation for longer term stability.
Exactly.
And remember, folks, this is time sensitive.
Yes.
That application window swings open this Friday. At midnight Eastern time.
Midnight.
And those applications submitted within the first 48 hours get priority processing.
You got it.
So don't drag your feet.
No.
Get over to that new IRS portal.
Yes.
As soon as it goes live.
As soon as it opens.
And make sure you have all your ducks in a row.
Yes.
Your Social Security or SSDI documentation, a valid government-issued ID, and your most recent tax return, if you filed one.
If you have it.
And if you hit any snags along the way, remember those support systems we talked about.
Yeah.
204/7 phone assistance, online chat support, and in-person help centers.
Yep.
Are all there to guide you through the process.
That's right.
So these payments won't affect your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or any other income-based benefits.
Yep.
They're structured to be supplemental, giving you that extra support without any negative repercussions.
Exactly.
That peace of mind is priceless.
It is.
It's a chance to breathe a little easier, tackle those lingering expenses.
Yes.
Or maybe even start building a more secure financial future.
For sure.
So if you found this information helpful and want to stay in the loop for future updates, make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're here to help you navigate these complex topics and make informed decisions.
Absolutely we are.
What strikes me as particularly significant about this program is how carefully it's been designed to address the unique needs of seniors and people with disabilities.
Yeah, it really is impressive.
That streamlined application process, the phased payment structure, the comprehensive support system, it all points to a genuine commitment to making this assistance accessible and effective.
That's right.
It's a real beacon of hope in what can sometimes feel like a challenging financial landscape.
Definitely.
And one final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Imagine the ripple effect if thousands of people were suddenly able to invest a portion of this money in their health, their homes, or their communities.
Yeah.
What kind of positive change could that unleash?
That's a great question.
We encourage you to dream big. Think about the possibilities and take action to claim the support you deserve.
Couldn't have said it better myself.